Away to Amanda. Amanda. Good morning to all distinguished guests, the community leaders amongst us, activists amongst us, survivors, members of Solplaki University, the whole family of SPU, our distinguished students and friends gathered here today. My name is Lucky Kumela, and I feel honored to serve you as the program director today for this mountainous occasion. Today is more than just a relaunch. We had been serving the university for some time, where the gender-based violence were dealt from the Health and Wellness Unit together with the Security Department, because most of those cases were reported from security. When we were launching our help desk last year, we also put our thumbs up and stamped more against the GBV-related crimes. I think our student leadership that were there have pressed a lot on the issues of the gender-based violence when we were launching our help desk. This is where we have appointed our female ladies to be dealing with the issues of gender-based violence. So today is more than just a relaunch, because we want to sensitize and make sure that everyone will know that the help desk still has not changed to be the harbor, the point of contact, the point where we can report these cases. This is a renewed promise that we are going to embark on today. It's a solemn vow. My apology. My apology for that. Priscilla, please hold my phone. I was saying that this is a solemn vow that we are going to endorse today as the university and its community and the society at large. This is to protect and empower those affected by the gender-based violence, whether it happened some few years ago, whether it is still new, that we are still here with open ears to listen to you. In the Northern Cape, just like any other area in South Africa, where the statistic shows that 1 in 3 women has faced violence one way or another, that includes even males, because the gender-based violence is not only looking at females, it's also looking at males. And Kimberley is not exonerated. Kimberley itself has seen these wounds in our homes, in our streets. Silence is no longer an option. This is why we need to raise up our voices and cry loud. In other words, it's very important that everyone must just stamp up and say, not in my watch. There is no GBV in my watch. Former Archbishop, our late Desmond Tutu, may his soul rest in peace, he once said, if you are a neutral in a situation of injustice, you have chosen the oppressor's side. Today, we choose And we choose safety, dignity, and accountability. Welcome to the GBV Safety and Reporting Desk relaunch at Solplaatje University. Let us set the tone for reflective, respectful, and purposeful gathering. As I will be calling the keynote speaker, Professor Boitumelo Diale, to open this session, it is my honor to invite Prof. Diale, a leading voice on ethics and human rights in higher education, to share her reflection on the university's ethical responsibility to confront all forms of GBV. Prof. Diale's commitment to justice reflects the very fabric of what this relaunch stands for. That is strengthening a culture grounded not just in policies, but in dignity and accountability. Please join me in welcoming Prof. Boitumelo Diale.
Dumelang, molweni, goeiemôre, good morning. Before I can give my keynote address, I would like us to just stand up and take just a moment of silence for all the fallen women and children through GBV. Ukuphumla ba kuphiwe bayohla labonwabile inyembe zizosuliwe Guziphelile. Thank you. Program Director, Mr. Lucky Kumela, Acting Vice Chancellor and Vice Chancellor Designate, Professor Deborah Meyer, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Teaching and Learning, Professor Green, Registrar, Dr. Cedras, the management team, the SMT, the leadership of the university, the leadership of the students, members of the community, colleagues, students, our community members, distinguished guests, and survivors amongst us. Good morning. We gather during the 16 days of activism against violence for women and children, but our commitment is to end the gender-based violence. And that commitment cannot be confined to 16 days. Whilst we have the 16 days in our calendar, it can never be that we only think about this scourge only when the 16 days hit. It must be woven into our very fabric of who we are as an institution, every single day of the year. Today, as the Solplaatje University, as we relaunch the GBV Safety and Reporting Desk, this is not just a ceremonial moment. It is for us an ethical commitment. I stand here on behalf of our Vice Chancellor Designate and on behalf of our University Management Committee, recommitting ourselves to this ethical stance. We make a solemn promise that every member of our community that will not look away, will not remain silent. We will not allow harm to flourish where learning, growth, and dignity should reign. We are conscious, ladies and gentlemen. We are conscious, colleagues. We are conscious, our dear students, that the weight is on our shoulders. We are conscious as the management that we have the responsibility. We are conscious that universities are not just neutral spaces. We are living ecosystems where power dynamics exist and where potential for harm is real. Our fundamental duty is to create environments where every person who enters our gates can do so with the assurance that their dignity will be protected and their safety is non-negotiable. Our nation's president has called gender-based violence a pandemic. All of us here, we can recognize and we can identify with a pandemic. We are coming from COVID, and we know what a pandemic can do. So when GBV is called a pandemic, we understand the depth of what it means. It is important for us to understand that behind every statistic, there is a person, there is a body. Whilst we can sit and watch statistics on our televisions when they are said, the reality that it is somebody's daughter, it is somebody's mother, it is somebody's wife, or it is somebody's child. It is a human being, a warm body. It is a colleague. It is a student whose life has been shattered by violence. Some of those people in this room, some of those people are in this room today, struggling in silence, uncertain whether their pain will be heard. Let me reassure you, somebody once said, silence is golden. But I want to say to you today, silence is death. There is nothing gold about being silent when we come to GBV. We need to ensure that the pain of each and every person who is violated is recognized, is acted upon, and we stand solemnly and firmly against it. To those survivors, we see you. We see you. We believe in you. And we commit and stand with you. We say to you, as the management of the Salt Lake University, we have zero tolerance in institutional standards. As the university, we operate from this position of zero tolerance for gender-based violence, sexual harassment, and all forms of interpersonal harm. This is not rhetoric. It is an institutional standard that demands vigilance, that demands accountability, that demands compassion, that demands unwavering commitment to dignity and justice, but also a standard that demands intention. We need to be intentional about what we do. And we commit ourselves as the management of this university that we are intentional about stopping gender-based violence at Salt Lake University. Zero tolerance for us means we do not minimize it. We do not give excuses, or we don't protect perpetrators at the expense of survivors. When someone comes forward, they are met with belief, with support, with confidentiality, and with action. Our approach is rooted in restorative justice, guided by fairness, by dignity, by due processes, and by verified facts. This is not about vengeance. This is about justice. The desk that we are relaunching today is a lifeline. In my life as a psychologist, I know what a lifeline means because we use a lifeline a lot. And sometimes we think we are throwing a lifeline to people, but maybe we miss the point of where we throw the lifeline. That is why I talk about intentionality, to say, as we relaunch, we're intentional about the lifeline that we are throwing to victims. The GBV Safety and Reporting Desk operates 24 hours, 7 days a week, because violence does not keep office hours. It doesn't provide after hours time. It doesn't provide light or darkness. It doesn't provide a private or public space. It is everywhere. It provides immediate access to reporting mechanism. This desk is meant to provide immediate access to reporting mechanisms, counseling support, safety planning, and referrals to appropriate services. We commit to strengthening our support in counseling. And I can say probably, as I stand here on behalf of the Vice Chancellor, being a psychologist myself, commit myself to work with this team in ensuring that counseling and true counseling is provided to survivors and to victims. We have also established an anonymous reporting through our KPMG Independent Ethics Hotline, which has the number 0800-201-172, or the email fraud@kpmg.co.za, and I think our technology people will at some stage flag it for us so that even people online can have these numbers and these emails for them to report. These pathways protect confidentiality and ensure accountability. We are conscious of the fact that sometimes when it happens, you might feel that it is screwed close. If it has happened in the Faculty of Education, and it is done by a staff at the Faculty of Education, you might feel that if I call to Prof. Diale, she might just protect her staff member. And it is okay to feel that way. That is why we have a secondary line, where you don't even have to come to Prof. Diale, where you can go independently to an outside body, to an independent body, and report your case, and it will be taken up. But let me remind you, the effectiveness of this desk rests on all of us, on our collective witness to report, to support survivors, to challenge cultures of silence, and to refuse complicity. You know, I grew up in a township, and I happened to grow up in a situation where in the township, we experienced a lot of domestic violence. And it was so normal that when our mothers were abused, it would be interpreted as love. Uyakuthanda, that's why I'm shy. He's beating you up because he loves you. And that is why some of our African proverbs that I strongly stand against when it comes to issues like marriage, I don't subscribe to. In our language, Dr. Cedras, in our language, Prof. Green, we have a saying that says when you get married, libitla la mosadi ke bogadi. That simply translates that when you get married as a woman, your death will be in your in-laws, so they can do anything. You can never leave that. And that is why traditionally when we got married, they would give you a kiss. It was not meant to store things. It was a symbol of saying, this is your box. So you need to be silent and die with it. And today, we refuse. We stand strongly that you might get into that marriage today. If it doesn't work, if they just point you, it is a sign that you are in danger. Walk out. In that relationship, girls, that you think it is so cautious, it is so beautiful. He buys me the most beautiful things. He buys me this expensive chocolate. I'm a Kit Kat girl, so I don't know these expensive chocolates because I eat the cheapest one, Kit Kat. But your Rocher or whatever. Because you think he buys you a chocolate that's wrapped in a golden paper. When he claps you, he loves you. And he says sorry and brings you a bunch of red roses. Watch out. You are in danger. It starts there. The cycle of violence starts there. And unfortunately, GBV is but one face of the many faces of violence that we say. How a person talks to you, how they make you feel as their partner, what they think and say about you. The physical abuse is but the end of it. It started with a simple thing, with a ngqi. A simple ngqi started the violence. Open your eyes. Open your ears. They say as women we love with everything. But maybe we need to protect some of the things. We need to protect our hearts. We need to protect our souls. Love is something that is not tangible, we cannot touch. So let's not put our hearts into it. Because it is these hearts that we count the number of graves, of young girls at universities, of women in houses, of mothers who've died through gender-based violence. We have, therefore, to collectively and willingnessly report, to challenge the culture of silence, and to refuse to be complicit. What is our ethical mandate as educators? And I use the word educator not because I'm in the faculty of education, but because I'm in a university, and a university is a space of education. Our ethical mandate as educators at Salt Lake University, across all 4 faculties, we are educators. We shape the minds and influence futures. The lessons we teach through our actions, our inactions, will echo far beyond these walls. What are we teaching when we respond swiftly to reports of harm? We teach that dignity matters, that justice is possible, that speaking up is not futile. But what are we teaching when we ignore the red flags or protect institutional images over human lives? We teach that some people's pain is less than others. Some people's pain is less important than others. We teach that silence is safer than truth. We teach that the system cannot be trusted. And surely the last part I've spoken about, it's not us at Salt Lake University. We cannot allow that to be in education, to be in humanities, to be in economic and management sciences, and to be at NAS, at SPU. University provides you unsafe space. We therefore commit to a collective responsibility. We say to you, gender-based violence is not only a woman's issue. It demands collective action from all of us. To the men in this room, we need you to be our allies. We need you to challenge toxic masculinities. We need you to hold each other accountable. We need you to understand that your silence can be as damaging as the active, complicity of the perpetrator. So we need your voice. and we need to hear it loud and clear. To our students, you are the generation that can shift culture. Create campus norms where consent is non-negotiable and respect is expected. To the staff and the faculties at SPU, you are often the first point of contact for our students in distress. Be trained, be aware, be willing to listen without judgment. Your response is critical, and your response moments can determine whether a survivor feels supported or further isolated. We now make a call to courage to all of you. To anyone here who has experienced harm, what happened was not your fault. There is no circumstance that justifies violence. The responsibility rests solely with those who chose to harm. Reporting is an act of courage, and you do not have to carry the burden alone. These systems are here to support you. You are protected by us. We will make sure that justice is pursued, and we also will make sure that healing is possible. I can say, as a psychologist, our counseling services in this university are ready to make sure that healing is taking place and healing is possible. And you deserve a community that will walk with you through this. As I conclude, I want us to all imagine in the eye of our brain that we are moving from a ceremony where Prof. Diale is standing in a podium to a commitment that we are all taking, that we all will walk out with when we walk out of this venue. In a few moments, we will walk to the GBV safety and reporting desk. We will cut a ribbon. We will light a candle. These are important acts, yes, but they are only meaningful if they are translated into sustainable action. So I challenge you. What will you do tomorrow? What will you do when you leave the precincts of Salt Lake University and you recognize GBV? What will you do when the cameras are off? What will you notice when your colleagues seems withdrawn? Will you intervene when you witness a neighbor screaming out of GBV? Will you take action when you notice disrespect? Will you believe a friend who tells you and confides in you that they are being abused? Will you report what needs to be reported? The culture we want is the culture that we can define for ourselves. And it is defined by the following: by dignity, by justice, by humility, by accountability, and by intentionality. We will build through the daily choices that each of us makes. When we decide that safety is everybody's responsibility, that silence is unacceptable, and that every member of this community deserves to learn, to work, and to exist without fear of violence, I believe in the capacity of Salt Lake University to be an institution that does not merely respond to harm after it occurs, but one that actively prevents it, that centers survivors' voices, and that models just, equitable society that we are preparing for our students to build. Let today be the day that we choose once again and with renewed commitment to be that university, a university that stands for care, for support, for humanity, for love, for respect, and for dignity of everyone. We cannot and will not allow gender-based violence at Salt Lake University. I repeat, we cannot and we will not allow gender-based violence at Salt Lake University. Ke a leboga. Thank you.
That was a most touching speech, but with a lot of truth in it that we need to act. In other words, we need to sing the song, not in our watch. Thank you very much, Prof. Diale. Thank you very much. Your call to action reminds us that the healing must come with responsibility, and it must also come with courage. I think before we move forward, I invite you to open your hearts to a powerful poem by Mogale Sidibe. This is our student whose words will echo and remind us that behind every statistic lies a human story, just as we have heard by Prof. Diale. And that story relates to pain. That story relates to indignity. That story also might relate to hope and resilience. For that matter, please help me to welcome our student, Mogale Sidibe. Is he not around? Okay. All right. Maybe at my back? Oh, okay. Very much interesting. I think we need to be in silence indeed, waiting for the miraculous appearance of Mogale Sidibe. Are we still waiting? Indeed. Mogale, is Mogale around here? He's on his way. Oh. All right. Thank you. Let me be in my restful position. Thank you. So proceed. Okay. I think we need to agree for that matter. Whenever maybe it's available, then we'll be informed. But thank you very much, our sister, for that. I think the next we will have to hear from the critical partner in this fight, the community message from the Women Waging War representatives, whose community-based advocacy in the Northern Cape provides survivors with hope and support. Their presence here tells us we do not fight alone. We have got many people that are fighting with us against this pandemic, GBV. Their work reminds us that effective change begins at home. Let us welcome the representative from Women Waging War representative. Thank you.
To be fair to Mohale, he was here by the time that he was supposed to be, that we were supposed to start. So, Untaliting, I think he is around, and there is someone who will fill in the big shoes if he doesn't show up, because we do have talent here in the Northern Cape. Dumelang, my name is Sipiwe Millicent George, and I am the founder of Women Waging War on Gender-Based Violence, Abuse, Inequality, and Poverty. We are very intentional with our name because inequality, GBVF, abuse perpetuates poverty and our inequality. Distinguished guests, SBU leadership and management, students, stakeholders, partners in justice and humanity. Today, on the concluding day of the 16 Days of Activism, we gather united not to close a chapter, but to begin a revolution of safety, dignity, accountability, and hope. We relaunched the SBU Gender-Based Violence Safety and Reporting Desk, operating 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because of bold leadership, compassion, and vision. I want to pause and acknowledge the courageous, compassionate leadership of SBU's administration and management. It is through your commitment, your humanity, and your courage that this desk is being reborn today. By taking this bold step, you are planting different seeds, seeds of protection, respect, accountability, and healing. And I promise you, those seeds will grow into a different harvest, a harvest where our campus is safe, where survivors find refuge, where communities heal, where future generations walk unafraid. SBU stands not only as an academic institution, but as a leader, a pioneer, a beacon of hope. We cannot build the future on silence. We must ground it in truth. A recent national review of 10 of South Africa's 26 universities found that between January 2023 and September 2024, at least 17 students were murdered across those institutions. The same review shows that gender-based violence and student murders continue to occur both in formal residence and in off-campus areas, highlighting a persistent and widespread campus safety crisis. Studies of GBVF prevalence in higher education show alarmingly high rates. At one sample institution among 604 students surveyed, 46% of those students reported sexual assault, 56.5% among 604 students surveyed reported emotional or verbal abuse, and 36.3% experienced physical violence. More broadly, between 20% and 25% of female university students in South Africa report having experienced sexual violence during studies. These are not merely numbers. They are lives lost, futures stolen, people traumatized. They represent real students, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, friends, hurt by violence in spaces meant for growth, learning, and hope. At SBU today, we refuse to wait for the next tragedy before we act.
Today we declare we will not wait for murder, assault, or breakdown before responding. We will build systems, programs, and support structures now before the next crisis. We will not treat GBV as an annual campaign. We treat it as a daily, non-negotiable commitment. This desk is more than reactive filing. It is preemptive prevention. It is empowerment before pain. It is dignity before damage. Let us speak in plain truth, because we must. Gender-based violence and femicide are not statistics. It is not politics. It is not media headlines. It is human beings hurting other human beings. Lives are destroyed. Futures are stolen. Dreams are destroyed. We will not allow it to continue on this campus, in this city, in this country. To perpetrators, to enablers, to those who would weaponize GBV for revenge, personal gain, or manipulation, hear this loud and clear. And we don't play when we say this. Ne? This institution, this community, this desk will show zero tolerance. There will be no hiding, no excuses, no delays. We will respond swiftly, firmly, and justly. And to the survivors, to the vulnerable, to those who suffer in silence, we say, you are really seen. We believe you wholeheartedly. You matter and your pain matters, and we stand with you. Kimberley always has been a city of firsts, a city of pioneers. Today, SPU becomes the first university in South Africa to commit truly commit to a fully operational 24/7 GBVF safety and reporting desk, plus preventative empowerment and accountability systems. What we built here will serve as a model, a blueprint, a standard. What we plant here will shape the future of campus safety across the nation. Some of the examples that we would like to see happen in the future as this pioneering movement is taken. Mandatory self-defense training for first-year students. At times, it takes that where you need to teach those that are coming in how to defend themselves. Peer safety champions and rapid response student teams. These are some of the actions that can be taken to bring to life the desk activities on a daily basis. Positive masculinity circles. We are not here to attack men, but we are here to reinforce accountability, because we do acknowledge that some men are also victims of violence. Know your rights and legal clinics. We need to emphasize and teach our young people how to know and how to react when things happen before they do, so that we are preventative in our nature. Digital safety tools, hotlines, panic buttons, confidential reporting, like Ma'am has already alluded to, safety mapping, prevention, empowerment, and promoting a healing community. Strong partnerships for sustained impact through collaboration with law enforcement, health and social services, NGOs, shelters, and mental health professionals. Survivors will never walk alone. Justice, healing, support, available 24/7. It looks and sounds like a dream come true. As women waging war, we prepared a pledge, and as we walk through to the safety and security section, where we will be cutting the ribbon, we are inviting all the stakeholders. We are saying to every stakeholder, government institutions, community leaders, faith-based organizations, students, I extend this invitation. sign the SPU Safety, Dignity and Accountability Pledge, where we will be committing to rejecting violence, committing to defending dignity, committing to supporting survivors, committing to building a campus and a nation where abuse has no place. Let our pledge be our covenant. Let our signatures be our shield. From us as an organization, Women Waging War, we believe that as women waging war on GBV, F, abuse, inequality, and poverty, we reaffirm we will fight the good fight tirelessly, boldly, without compromise. We will stand with survivors with unwavering support. We will hold institutions and individuals accountable without fear or favor. We will build safe, respectful, inclusive spaces where abuse is no more, and dignity, justice, healing, equality, and respect prevails. We pledge with our voices, our hearts, our actions to work with SPU. With Kimberly, with every partner, until every human being can live free, safe, equal, and dignified. This is our mission, this is our promise, this is our fight. Amanda.
Thank you very much. We have had such a powerful and committing speech from the woman waging war representative. And thank you for sharing that vivid reflection of bravery and solidarity. I am not certain if I have seen any SAPS representative. I'm asking that because I just need to know if there is anyone here so that we don't waste much time. Is there anyone from the SAPS? Are they still coming? Thank you. Let's proceed now and go to item number 5 for those people that are having the program. The next speaker speaks to the heart of our campus community and our students. This will be Mr. Buntu Nyaka from Student Life, who will be focusing on creating safe spaces and proactive measures within SPU to prevent GBV and support survivors. Help me to welcome Mr. Buntu Munyaka.
Suppose I'm told. This thing becomes a problem. Let me observe all protocol. Colleagues, students, partners, today we're gathered not merely to relaunch a desk, but to affirm a collective promise. A promise that every student who enters Sol Plaatje University must experience safety, dignity, freedom to learn, grow, and to thrive without fear. Gender-based violence strikes at the heart of these values, strengthens the very foundation upon which our work within the Division of Student Affairs is built. At SPU, we recognize that student development is inherently holistic. It is intellectual, but it's also emotional, social, rational, as well as deeply rooted in one's sense of belonging. When violence intrudes upon a student's life, it fractures that belonging, it disrupts learning, destabilizes mental health, weakens participation, and in the most painful cases, changes the direction of a life forever. Within the Division of Student Affairs, we hold true in the essence that leading with care is not a slogan, it's our responsibility. Our mandate is to create a holistic environment in which students can succeed, both academically and socially. We're governed by values of equity, equality, dignity, freedom, values that require us to confront harm with honesty, courage, and to build systems that restore, protect, and sustain hope. The Safety and Reporting Desk we relaunched today represents this promise in practice. It is more than an administrative point of contact. It is a tangible commitment from the university and the broader stakeholders in the university that no student will ever be left to navigate harm alone. A number of students suffer in silence, fear shaming, blame, and their voices may be disregarded. Today, we affirm unequivocally that your voice matters. You will be heard, you will be supported, and you will be protected. In relaunching this pathway for reporting, healing, and safeguarding, it is enhancing our coordination between student life, residence life, student counseling, campus health, and protection services to ensure that every arm, also within the Division of Student Affairs, plays a role in offering an integrated, compassionate, and timely support. We also acknowledge the work that has been done by the Health and Wellness Center in providing support to our students. Furthermore, we acknowledge that a desk alone cannot end gender-based violence. A campaign alone cannot shift a culture. Only a community can do it. Change happens when every lecturer pays attention to the student in distress. Every friend refuses to normalize harmful jokes. Every warden creates a safe and affirming resident space. Every staff member responds with urgency, sensitivity, and respect. Every student chooses responsibility and honor over harm. This is how culture transforms. This is how communities heal. This is how accountability takes root. Today, Student Life and Development, the broader Division of Student Affairs, stand resolute with survivors, those who have spoken, those who remain silent, those who are rebuilding day by day, and those who feel unseen or unheard. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. We see you, and we commit ourselves to protecting you. As we move forward in the Division of Student Affairs, we take initiative in deepening education on health relationships, consent, emotional intelligence, mental wellness, ethical citizenship. We will strengthen peer support networks, intensify cross-departmental collaboration in ensuring that SPU remains a space where students are not only academically capable, but are nurtured as human beings. Today, we recommit to listen, to protect, to respond, and to lead with care. May this relaunch be the beginning of a stronger, safer, and more compassionate Soap-Light University. Thank you very much.
I believe I'm also a little bit tall, but I will just stand tall here, even more taller. Allow me to call our band to come and give us a rhythm of hope, a rhythm that will be encouraging us to stand against GBV, to be proud to say, not in our watch. Let us welcome our band that will be coming in to just throw in that vibe in our mind. Thank you very much.
I'm very short. Just adjust. When I say it's nice to be here, you say it's good to be here. It's nice to be here. It's good to be here. To all the intellects in the house, my name is Mokhale Sidibe. I'm a poet. I'm a children's literature author. I have read and learned from the diaries of the dead African how to discern, or rather distinguish, the difference between a fly that follows garbage to its dumping place and a fly that follows a corpse to its grave. Consider this. Pacing the space between man and his race. Between the race to claim territory to space. We face ourselves every day to identify with being human instead of animals first. The thirst that persists in human spirit to quench the drenching dead. Thinking back to the time the third's eyes blinking bled. But there are only a few of us who have seen the serpent whisper certain things in an eavesdrop. There are bitter things hidden behind venomous tongues of introverts who are thinking loud enough to break the walls they've built around them. Speak to self if need be. One day it'll come for us. A legion of kings whose crowns ordained by the beast. The least men can do is unleash the inner monster to feast. With one's eye open in cold blood, let them see my inner monsters. I have slain so many demons. I slew my brother's helping hand while playing swords the other day. But mother bandaged it with a soothing silence. It was as if ignoring a child fall for the first time. We all pay our dues to earth, she says. At birth, babies cry to open up their lungs to new air, but you came quiet like a child we thought would never bear. The care, the love, your mother's endless stare, something I wouldn't dare to share. It's nice to be here. Don't be sad, it's good to be here. I fell for a flower. No, I fell from a flower. I lost my footing for 1 hourglass, counting traces of her fairy dust, or petals, sang songs of how she loves me and sometimes she loves me not. With the hope to jump the broom and tie the knot. Our first dance became our last. We are both trapped in the present, me trying to fit in, her flitting with her past. We were haunted. For me, it was a type of shoe I chose the day I tripped on her floors. For her, there was something in her claws. She lost her grip from a futile soil, her roots ran shallow. Hello, I said, my primrose, let me trim your thorns. I will not sit here and pretend like my heart has never been pricked by the devil's horns. But rumor has it that she does not wear Prada no more. She's the woman dressed in red, confusing every man who looks her way. She is a tomb where many pharaohs have laid. She's the anger and bitterness my father endured after my mother eloped with another man, hoping that he would be better than my father. She's the jealousy dripping from my stepmother's heart after my mother's water broke. Hey, let me tell you, the devil is that yoke around the necks of feminist, racist patriots and the self-proclaimed woke. And to hell with the rainbow nation. There's no color black up there. And maybe in between the spaces between white and us, they have painted something in shades of dark. Now the river responsible for watering the Garden of Eden runs black. Brothers, our sisters refer to us as dogs. Sometimes trash. That's why we piss on the system about the land, hoping for territory to mark. To pick a bone, they speak volumes when they are thrown. To pick a bone, they speak volumes when they are thrown. Credo, the nemesis of light. Ngiyavuma, with my breath, I concur. With my breath, I concur. Mute set then set Mohale to deter from future fight. Travel light. I looked to my moon and said, to deter from our future light. Travel with light. I said, travel light. I'll also travel with light. Travel light. Travel with light. Travel light. Travel light. This poem is dedicated to everyone who's ever loved somebody who was in love with somebody else. I think that's also a root of GBV. In some cases where I come from, loving too much, somebody who's in love with somebody else. Yeah? When she said to me she was leaving, I hoarded my demons and summoned jinns to unravel a spell she had cast. I am weaving patterns of a strange life from my past, my sunflower, morphed into a lotus after having opened up to a stranger's light. This occurred during one of the most strangest of nights. It was when we gathered, a conglomerate of angels and demons. With our sins, skin encapsulated, we bustled during God's absence, moving towards the darkness. I mean, the role of the murderous accomplice is that of the weapon procurer. It was now her heart was stolen by toothless wolves. And I, Eisenheim, a shepherd who lost track of a flock of sheep because I was busy counting squandered stars. All I wanna do now is sleep. Perhaps wake up in the next life a progenitor to my son's sons. I would bask in the radiance of performing acumen in street corners. To her, a crescendo of a fugue that lasted long enough for this artist to perfect his fresco. A smile was like a painting with no brushstrokes. Woman, you were an intricate piece of art, I must admit. I was once intoxicated by your natural aroma. Look, I have turned into a dipsomaniac who spends libation into his own mouth and repudiates of being an alcoholic. A dilettante who takes delight in ostentation of nude angels. Not to sound rude, angel, but I'm also human, right? So how could your ire be evoked by semblance of this paradox? Jesus, you are like a profane priest who cloaks the threats of his own cape with oblivion and doubt. Self-centered religious zealots acknowledging plaudits from an audience of one, the ego. Look, I did not come here to raise war. It is between our conflicts where arsenals of truth store our smiles. You are the scent that heals on breathtaking. You are the color of jasmine that reminds me of my favorite childhood memory, picking flowers from Mother Nature's garden, unaware that I'm killing them. See, now, I'm aware that I'm killing them. Like a sangoma who shuns away evil practices and voodoo for love and poetry. An insipid shallowness of a favorite poem, the sheer affliction of falling for simplicity. It was now she fell victim to the 80-20 rule and opted for 20. That Tyro who recently learned the workings of your soul. My queen, I meant to say I'm in love with us, but it took me an eternity to write this poem. My mind is heckled by this. Take a quantum leap under my skin's refinery. My mind's library. I was once broken, but now I'm more expensive. So connect the dots. It is now you have mastered the art of tinsel. Are your philosopher's stone ricocheted on the oceans of agony and landed on logic? I said, sing me a lullaby and I'll wake up a better man than myself tomorrow. I said, I promise, sing me a lullaby and I'll wake up a better man than myself tomorrow. I said, I promise, sing me a lullaby. I said, sing me a lullaby. I said, sing me a lullaby. I said, sing me. I said, sing me a lullaby. I said, sing me.
Thank you very much. Let's give them again a round of applause. There is something that I learned when this band was entertaining us. Actually, it was waking the deepest part of our souls. Then something that came up in my mind was that art comforts the disturbed, and it disturbs the comfortable. So when you think that you are very comfortable, you don't want to act, it tells you you have got the job to do. Let's give them once more again, round of applause. And thank you very much, the band, for that moving reminder and waking up our souls to understand our duty as human beings. Dear beloved audience, we will welcome the SAPS representatives, and we will be requesting Warrant Officer Anthony, who is coming from the Family Violence, Child Protection, and Sexual Offenses Unit, to come and present to us. Here, the warrant officer will be highlighting the law enforcement collaboration and the vital reporting pathways that protect victims and uphold justice. Kimberley and the Greater Northern Cape rely on robust partnerships like these to break the cycles of violence. Dear ladies and gentlemen, help me to welcome Warrant Officer Anthony.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. All protocol observed. I'm Warrant Officer Antoni from the Family Violence and Child Protection Unit. We call it the FCS. Now, FCS stands for Family Violence, Child Protection, and Sexual Offences Unit. We're dealing with gender-based violence cases, but I'm going to start with reporting. Usually in the community, when gender-based violence occurs, the stigma is that these crimes only happen to women. But GBV, it doesn't say it's only woman or child. Any violence can also happen to a guy, to a man. So sometimes, or most cases, sometimes a man doesn't report it, but gender-based violence is violence towards any human being, and it must be reported. So sometimes crimes occurred and then the person feel not to report it. No, any crime doesn't expire. Although the crime was happened last year or few years back, it can still be reported. The procedure is you started by the Community Service Center. We call it the CSC. When you go there and you open a case docket, you can also be accompanied by a support system, by a family member or friend or relative for support. And then you can just say there's a GBV desk at the all police stations, and there's a community-friendly room. So you can say that you want to report a matter there, and then you'll be taken to room 5 or the community victim-friendly room. Then a police official will attend to you. When you're opening the case docket, or even if you call the police, community, it's important if you call the police to ask whom you speak with, you ask for your IR number. The IR number is your reference number. Please take note, this is important. Sometimes the community are complaining that when they call the police didn't pitch. But then you ask the person, but to whom did you spoke with? No, I can't remember, it was a guy. What time? Oh, I called around 10 o'clock. It's now 4 o'clock the afternoon. The police didn't pitch yet. So it's important to ask for the name, and you ask for your IR number. So sometimes, if you don't want to make your name present, you don't want to give your name, you can also make an anonymous call. If you see people are fighting and you're concerned about the neighbors, the fighting there, remember the Children's Act says that any crime committed towards a child must be reported. Whether you're not a family member, whether you're a member of the community, you can report that matter. Ne? It can be reported to the police, it can be reported to the social workers. So we're not only dealing with rape cases, we're dealing with sexual offenses, we're dealing with child abuse, child neglect, domestic violence, etc., femicides, etc. So now when you open the docket at a community service center, you give your correct, please, it's important to advise or inform our community society out there, our family members, at church, wherever you are going, to give the correct cell phone number. Because sometimes people open cases, they give a number, and then you contact the person, the phone is on voicemail or the phone is not working. You understand? So it's important to give the correct phone number. If you give the phone number, you'll receive an SMS with your case number. And then with your case number, you can then do follow-up. That's where my department, my unit comes in now, Family Violence and Child Protection Unit. The case will be transferred to us, and where we investigate the cases now. So I will work with the procedure with you. It's like I will inform you on a document SP 429 that I'm the investigating officer. Sometimes people don't understand the procedure. It's like when you open a case, you don't have to be every time at court. The investigating officer, which is me, Warrant Officer Antoni, or one of my colleagues, will communicate with the complainant or the rape survivor or the complainant that opened a case. Ne? When the person must go to court, or we will subpoena you, we will summons you with J32 to appear in court. So it's important when you report a matter, try to be calm, try to be in a calm state. So when you recall the events that happened to you, you can give all the facts. Usually when I'm going to schools, we communicate with the children it's important when you get into a vehicle, take down the registration number, description of the vehicle, description of the person. Yeah? Because we're working also with kidnapping cases. There's different departments in the police. There's human trafficking, there's a dog unit, there's a lot of different departments. So my unit is dealing with the gender-based violence cases. So it's important when you report a matter, the case has been opened, they will inform us, or the police, after you opening the case docket, will transport you to the hospital. You will be examined there if it's a sexual offense, or if it's even assault, you will be examined. The nurse or the doctor will complete the JT8 at the hospital. And then from there, we will walk the path with you. We will take you to Zela, TCC. It's in Halashwe, it's at the day hospital, right in the corner. They will offer counseling services. They will do the examination of the child or the person that's assaulted or sexually violated. Ne? You can even apply there for protection order. So even if you don't want to open a case, you can still go to TCC, to Zela Care Center in Halashwe, the day hospital, situated there, and they can give you the necessary services, counseling, applying for protection order, etc. Because sometimes we get people in the community, they don't want to open a case. They need the counseling, and they want to apply for protection order, but of course they are scared. So you can also go there. They will call the police. They give all the services there. So it's very important. And then after the examination at the hospital, they will take you home. Is where we come in the next day. We will take you to TCC, like I explained, for counseling, etc. So it's also important when we also advise the young people, especially to keep on your phone's location. Ne? So, for example, if you are invited to a party, and then we got a lot of situations where the person switch off their phone. The person is being human trafficked or kidnapped, or the whole weekend you're away from home. Your parents doesn't know where you are. It's important to leave your phone's location on so that phone can be traced. It's important to tell your friend, the person that you were last time with, before you go out to the club or you go to this party, to say that I'm going to Queen's Park Hotel. I'm driving with Sibani Bani, and this is a car registration, keep on your phone's location. And then the other thing is, if something happened to you, it's also important to tell someone immediately what happened to you. Remember, that person is your first report. Your first report is very important in court because then that person can corroborate your story, what you told him or her after you're opening a case. It's very crucial. Sometimes I understand you don't know the person that committed the crime towards you, but it's important to look at the description, the features of that person. Does that person have any tattoos? What language did the person speak with you? What car or vehicle that person was driving? Was he driving a Ford Ranger buggy? A white Free State Fiesta? Registration number is very important. What language did the person speak? Any tattoos? How do you identify that person? You understand? There's also LCR, Local Criminal Record Center. They are dealing with, if you open a case and you can't describe the suspect or you don't know the person that committed the crime towards you, they can do an ID sketch, identification sketch. They will sketch the person, how the person looks like. We have 2 people here in the Northern Cape in Kimberley that can do that. We have a seaman dog that goes to the crime scene. The crime scene part, it's important to, when someone takes you to an unknown area, unknown house, unknown building, to check how the fence look, how the house look, or remember when you get out, when something happened to you, the description of the house. If you don't know the street name, you understand? How it looked there, how many people moved in and out of there, where did you know this person from? Is it from, did you met this person before? Did you see him with another student, or did you see him at another department or at another shop he's working there? So this will give us clues as a police how we can trace that person. Was there any communication on the phone, cell phone? From which cell phone number this person communicated with you? We can also apply for Section 205 at court. If the person communicated you before, from which network it was, and then we apply for Section 205 to get the records of that person. Ne? So there are many leads. And at the crime scene, people, it's very important. Sometimes I usually ask, for me it's very important if I'm going to a scene, or when someone reported a case, I will ask, but at the scene, didn't you touch any glasses, any bottles, anything? That we call touch DNA. The person that's going to photograph a crime scene, they're going to check everything that you touched, even there. Did you leave everything on the scene? Maybe your trouser, a sock, or anything that's placing you on the crime scene. Who can also help us. Ne? It doesn't mean if a person, for example, in a case of a rape case, if a person used a condom, you don't have evidence. Ne? That's why I'm saying to you, to whom you reported the matter first, after it happened. The description of the house, description of the person, description of the vehicle is very important. What did you leave on the crime scene? How was the crime scene involved? What time did you go there? What time did you come from there? With whom did you go there? And very important, when you go out as a group, ne, stay in a group. Because when you go to squeeze us, you go to the bathroom, all 3 ladies go together to the bathroom while we're standing outside. Because sometimes we get instances where you go to squeeze us, for an example, or Queen's Park, then the lady will left her beer or drink aside unattended. She will leave it on the counter, go to the bathroom, come back, and then later you left with a person and you can't remember how did you end up at that certain place, certain hotel, certain guest house, or certain house. Because you leave your drink open there. If you move with your drink, don't leave things unattended. Because sometimes people can throw things inside, we call it a date rape rug. They can spike your drink. You get a lot of instances like that. You can eat, not only alcohol can be spiked, people, your Coke or your cool drink can also be spiked. So it's important to move with your stuff, to report, don't go alone. If you at a club or a party, you met someone there, don't go with strange people. Don't walk with them, and you don't report it to anyone. It's important to report it to the next person. Because with human trafficking, we also find out that sometimes people are being studied, or they think this is people that it's their poor family, or this is a single mother, or there's not a guy that's coming in and out there. We will offer this person money or so. That person will, now you being groomed, understand? And the thing is, we also get cyberbullying, where you contacted each other, you saw this person on Instagram, or you contact this person on Facebook, né? And then there's communication between the two of you. Although that person deleted the messages, you confiscate the phones, we send it into our cyber unit. That deleted message can be retrieved. So it's important to tell us and give us the full information. Where did you meet this person? From where do you know this person? Whether there's any communication between the two of you. Né? In cases of child neglect, child abuse, the social workers is also on board. We also have our own forensic social worker. She's working with children from baby to 12 years old. Above 12 years, Department of Social Development, DSD, they are working with the children. They will give us a social worker report. If the children are younger than 12 years, our forensic social worker will do the forensic social worker report. So it's important, if someone, you got cases even at schools where children are being bullied on phone, if you don't send me this naked picture, I will do this to you. Or then the child sending the stuff, and later, if you don't do this, I will send this on social media. It is cyberbullying, people. Then you see the child is been quiet, she's withdrawn, she doesn't want to go to school, etc. So all these things, if you come to across, I always tell the people, it's important to know where your child is, with whom your child is, who your child's friends is, where your child is playing. We get instances where young people go out, they don't come home, they tell the mother they're going to sleep over, but then the parent doesn't follow up if the child was really there. And the whole child sleeping out the whole weekend, and then after the weekend it's been reported the child was missing, the child was raped. So then we will further investigate it. But it's important to tell the truth and to know what's happening in your child's life, to know what's happening on that phone. Because sometimes most of the communication, it's happening on the phone, where there's liquor involved, where that person are being groomed. You understand? I was dealing with high court matters also where children are being groomed. Yeah? So, and when it comes to kids, they don't open up immediately, especially when it's also family members, because they are afraid the people will fight in the house. Person can go to jail, or they are being threatened. I was last week in Cape Town, and then the one day, it was on the Tuesday, the Wednesday, there was this lady that she reported the case years back, so she's afraid now that the guy got out. So with further investigation, further interviewing the lady, I found out that the lady didn't get, she didn't go back for counseling, because there's a family member now that abused this lady. The family also doesn't support. So let us support our family members. Let us not judge each other. Women, let's wear each other's crown. Let's support each other. Don't make a laughing stock if someone was being abused, because this can happen to anyone. And if you open a case, it's important, if you don't get feedback, to go back to the police station, to ask who's your investigating officer if you say you don't get feedback, and ask what's happening in my case, how far is it going to court, because you must get regular feedback also from the investigating officer. So sometimes our people doesn't understand the procedure, but let's support each other. Sometimes the community say they don't want to get involved because it's none of my business, or she is like that. Let's not judge each other. Let's support each other. Women, please, I'm doing a plea today. Let's support each other. Let's be there for one another. Ne? Don't laugh the other person out, or make a laughing stock, or make a gossip thing about it, because it can happen to anyone's family. You can be killed, you can be robbed, you can be assaulted, you can be raped, you can be kidnapped. Anything can happen to you. It doesn't mean it makes me better than the next person, or if I'm in a better position to look down on the next person. So let's be there for one another. Let's support each other. When even open a rape case, we have different kits that we are using at the police station. We have a D7, we use it for the children. We have a D1, crime kit. We collect those evidence. We gave it to the doctor. The doctor opened the kit in the presence of the rape survivor. The evidence has been collected. They gave it back to the police. They booked it in SAP-13, or they gave it back to me. We take it to the laboratorium, forensic science laboratory in Plattekloof or Pretoria, where they check if any DNA can be picked up there. So even if a condom was used, it doesn't mean you can't get a successful prosecution. I got a successful life sentence where a condom was used. Ne? So it's important to keep all the facts straight, to be with someone when you go to the police station, to be calm, to be sober, and to reflect everything that happened. If you're not afraid to give statement now, if a person is drunk or under the influence of alcohol or intoxicated, you can't give consent. I want to highlight that one. If person is under the influence of alcohol, the person can't give consent towards sex, to intercourse. So that means the person takes advantage of the next person. A person that was having a mental disorder, I was dealing with a lot of cases like that. The person can't give consent. When person is having a mental disorder, sometimes the people will laugh, say, she's crazy, man says mal. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Remember, we refer that person to the mental hospital for mental evaluation. So there are certain procedures in place that we can deal and help that person. Ne? So if it's like a mental person or a child, I mean the case is very serious, it's Schedule 6 offense. So we'll deal it with that. So there's a lot of factors involved. So it's important to, when a case has been reported, to remember all the factors, the description, the type of language the person was spoken with you, what clothing that the person was wearing, was there any cell phone communication, what did you leave on the crime scene? For me, I'm very alert on that. If I go to the crime scene where it happened, what can you remember there at the crime scene? I check what I can, did you wipe yourself with something, with a t-shirt or cloth or anything? You must tell us immediately, all of it, because now, and even if you can't give statement or you're too emotional, you can also write everything down on a paper. Ne? It's how you recall about the events that happened to you. And then you can give it to the police, and they can take it from there. And if you don't want to be alone, children are not being interviewed alone. There must be a guardian or a parent, a guardian, a family member, or someone from the varsity. Children under 18, So, yeah, that is the way forward. And please, it's important not to leave your drinks unattended. For a lot of cases, people are being human trafficked. Crimes doesn't only happen to women, to men also, to children also. So there are a lot of things that we follow. And then also, we send it to the lab, we'll prioritize your DNA, and then they will give us feedback regarding that. The person, just be informed that the person that did the crime towards you, whether it's assault, whether it's rape, whether it's child neglect, that person has the right to apply for bail. So then we postpone the case for bail application, and then we'll give you feedback. The complainant can also give him or her views regarding how does she feel regarding must the person be released. If you say the person must not be released, must kept in custody, you must give the reasons. But be informed the person has also a right to apply for bail application. GBV is actually broad, but I try to summarize it in a nutshell. But it's important, I highlight that, I want to put emphasis. If you call the police on the phone, ask for your IR number. Your IR number is your reference number. Because the police will register that complaint, they attend 111, they will dispatch the complaint on the system to another vehicle, so that when you call later and the police isn't pitched, you can say, but is Mr. Appy speaking? This is my IR number. I called this morning at 8 o'clock. It's 4 o'clock. The police didn't pitch yet. That is procedure. We get different investigating officers, different investigating units. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Warrant Officer Anthony, for such a hope that we get in collaboration with the SAPS. And thank you very much for reaffirming the united front we must maintain in the face of the GBV. Now, the next speaker, we are going to call the student leadership who is critical in driving cultural change. This will be the SRC president. And when he finishes his speech, I will request Karabo Saile, who will have a poem on women, to usher the words of the SRC president. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Gershwin Faniker, SRC president, who will share how students at SPU embrace the responsibility to foster respect and accountability. Thank you.
Well, I'm also tall, Mr. Kumela, so I won't be using this. Anyway, allow me to rise on the credentials, I believe, adopted earlier in the session. And I'd like to request for this particular speech to refer to everyone in this house as comrades, not because it's a political notion or what I use usually to address my comrades, but I believe we are gathered here today for a collective action to fight this national disaster or this animal called gender-based violence and femicide plus. So, comrades, we are gathered here today not to make a polite conversation, but to confront a national disaster. Gender-based violence and femicide plus is tearing apart our society, and our students are on the front lines of this crisis every single day. It is our shared duty, not only as leaders, but as humans, to confront this with clarity, with courage, and a refusal to compromise. No student should feel unsafe, and so for staff members as well. No one should fear for their life while trying to learn. So today, as I stand here before you, I stand as a leader, a student, a fellow South African, to pledge a pledge of solidarity with every survivor. A pledge, ladies and gentlemen, to uphold the safety and dignity of our students in particular, but also the broader SPU community in general. And a pledge to confront this national disaster with all the courage and responsibility it demands. Now, when the President of the Republic declared the GBVF plus a national disaster, we learned there that the country realized and acknowledged the seriousness of this crisis. However, we must be honest that declaring this a national disaster is not enough if there is no collective effort in curbing this issue. And in saying this, I'm borrowing from the great Cuban revolutionary comrade Che Guevara, who taught us, in fact, that solidarity is the foundation of any true revolution. And I believe as we are launching this help desk here today, we are not doing it for the sake of formality, but we are initiating a revolution here to ensure that this campus, our institution, becomes and revert back to be a safe haven for everybody here who comes to learn, who comes to work, and whatsoever. So GBVF Plus is not only a social or moral problem. It is a crisis that touches every corner of this country. Every student and every institution is indeed touched by this particular crisis. And if we are honest, addressing it will challenge the comfort zones and the power dynamics within institutions of higher learning. We, however, imagine a university as the SRC where no student will live in fear, where violence in any form against any gender becomes unthinkable. So the launch of this GBVF Plus Help Desk is more than a milestone to us. It's a promise to protest, a promise to protect our students from this national disaster and to safeguard them against those who will want to exploit, by the way, such sensitive cases to advance their own agendas. This Help Desk here, ladies and gentlemen, represents our commitment to action, not rhetoric, and to prioritizing the safety and the dignity of each and every student here in and around our campus. So as student leaders, we refuse to inherit a broken system and manage the damage like it is acceptable, because it is not. Our role is to disrupt, to challenge, to hold accountable, not only those in power, by the way, but also ourselves. But leadership alone, and speaking now from a perspective as a president of the SRC, we cannot on our own curb this issue. Staff, alumni, and external stakeholders within this institution, your hands are needed too. Your voices, your courage. GBVF Plus is not just a student problem, it's a societal disaster. Our response must therefore be collective, it must be bold and radical in its accountability. No half measures, no excuses. We need a campus where reporting will be safe, where support will be immediate, and justice becomes non-negotiable. We need trained staff and transparent systems and active allies, not observers in this crisis. So the time for polite conversations is over. The time for action is indeed now. Let this Help Desk be a rallying point. Let it be a weapon against GBVF Plus. Today we claim responsibility. Today we demand change, and indeed today we act. So let us be sound, let us be deliberate, and let us be uncompromising, and let the safety of our students be the order of the day, non-negotiable, and defended with every tool at our disposal. So history will remember this not only as a launching of a Help Desk, but as a turning point where we chose courage over comfort and actions over excuses. And most importantly, where we chose solidarity over silence. So I'd like to end off by saying the famous words when we comrades tend to address platforms. And when I say Amantla for a reason, I would like the House to then respond in unity, to say Awetu. Because this particular Help Desk, the launching of it, teaches us today that we are yet and we are busy regaining and finding our strength. Amantla. Thank you very much.
I thought Karabo Seile will be coming here. Now I can see he is not here. Thank you very much, President. Thank you very much, our President, for your powerful message of collective responsibility and effort in reclaiming our space once more again. I think this is the moment which everyone, whenever you see abuse, you need to say, not in our watch, not on my watch. Now, we are going to walk to the GBV Safety and Reporting Desk and the ribbon cutting, where we'll be led by Ms. Maureen Malak. As we move to the symbolic heart of this morning, the relaunch of the GBV Safety and Reporting Desk, I invite Ms. Maureen Malaka to guide us in this work. As we approach the desk, let us remember its meaning: a fiscal stand against violence, a beacon of hope, and a reminder of SPU's unwavering commitment to dignity and safety for all, as per all the speech of everyone. We can move, following Ms. Malaka, to the help desk. Thank you. Can we all move in the front here? I know it's quite hot, but we won't take much time. We will just speed up the process. Comrades, and now following the steps by the SRC president, I will call you comrades as well. And dear comrades, I just hope we'll start by this even next year. By cutting this ribbon today, we draw a line in the sand. From this moment, SPU renews its promise to survivors and the community that no one here stands alone. We'll just watch as they cut and then we give an applause. You may proceed. Thank you very much. Without further ado, we are going to do the candlelight moment for victims. I'm just concerned it's quite very hot there. So we'll have the candlelight moment for the victims and survivors by Professor Diale. Let us borrow our moment of seriousness for a lifetime of safety. I invite Prof. Diale to lead us in the candlelight moment, a dignified reflection honoring the victims, survivors, and their families. This is the space for collective grieving, collective healing, and a deep commitment to a change. Over to you, Prof. Diale.
We light this candle in mourning and remembrance. This flame is our collective action. As this candle burns, it joins the eternal fire of our ancestors. May its light guide us. May its light guide the survivors towards healing. May its light honor those who have journeyed on and remind us of our Ubuntu. Let us call for our shared humanity and call all of us to protect and uplift one another. Amandla!
Thank you very much. May this light be a symbol, not only a remembrance of all the pains that we had, but of hope. Let it remind us why the fight must continue and it's not going to stop. Without further ado, I'm just concerned about the heat. I know that we were supposed to have been calling Karabo Saile as we missed him there, but I'm concerned about heat. Let us go to the closing reflections by Mrs. Tabitha Mapale. To close this program, please help me to welcome Ms. Tabitha Mapale for final reflections, a call to action we carry forward beyond today. Thank you. Our work does not end in this room. It begins anew every day for every person who deserves safety and respect here at SPU and beyond. Before Ms. Mapale comes and take up the stand here, I would like us to proceed with the signing of the pledge.
The 2025 GBVF and Human Dignity Commitment Pledge, signed at the SPU Gender Desk launch on the 10th of December 2025, taking the fight beyond 16 days and always. We, the undersigned stakeholders of the Northern Cape government departments, Chapter 9 institutions, municipalities, civil society organizations, academic institutions, business, traditional and faith leaders, and community representatives, we unite today to declare our unwavering commitment to ending gender-based violence and femicide, abuse, inequality, and all forms of discrimination. Recognizing the pain carried by survivors, acknowledging the lives lost, honoring the silence of our communities, and accepting our duty to protect, serve, and restore dignity in South Africa. We hereby solemnly pledge that we will not be silent. We will commit to speaking out against every form of GBVF, abuse, bullying, exploitation, and discrimination, wherever it occurs, in homes, workplaces, communities, institutions, and online spaces. We will actively support prevention programs, survivor-centered services, awareness campaigns, and community-driven interventions that bring real, measurable change. We will hold ourselves accountable. We will ensure that policies, systems, and workplaces are safe, just, inclusive, and free from abuse of power and gender injustice. We will protect and empower. We commit to strengthening referral pathways, reporting mechanisms, support services, and partnerships that prioritize the dignity, healing, and safety of survivors. We will collaborate. We commit to working hand in hand across sectors: government, civil society, academia, traditional and faith leadership, business, youth structures, and communities to build a unified response to GBVF. We will sustain the fight beyond 16 days. We affirm that the work does not end today or with this campaign. Our commitment is year-round, continuous. We affirm the work does not end today or with this campaign. Our commitment is year-round, continuous, and active. We will build a province where dignity lives and abuse die. We pledge to make the Northern Cape a model of safety, justice, compassion, and equality for all. This is the solemn pledge that every stakeholder that is here will be signing and committing to. Thank you so much for your presence and for you believing that we are winning. I want you to give yourselves a round of applause because we have made it. We are getting to the promised land, to the new earth where GBVF will be no more. Thank you so much.
All the stakeholders, that Ubuntu, please sign here. SRC.
Viva Women Waging War. Amanda! Viva Bakhosikazi, viva! Viva! Asikhulumeni bakithi, asikhulumeni. Amanda! Not in my name. Not in GBVN. Huh? Thank you for this. This is so good. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Ms. Tabitha Mapale, moment is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. As we gather here to close off today's GBV Desk relaunch, ending of 16 days of activism, and the end of another year, need I brag about my students? Our students at SPU are the first to take part in the 100-day challenge. They've committed themselves to ensure that there's an ending to GBVF and ensure that they're constantly learning and making a change within our community. That deserves a round of applause. I'm reminded once again of the strength, compassion, and resilience that defines our institution. Today's conversations were not easy. They were not, but they were meant to be as they are necessary. What I pride myself is that at SPU, we are gender inclusive, meaning we don't see whether you're a woman or a man because we believe in the dignity of you being a human being. I am because you are, and that's what makes us great. By being here, by listening and sharing, and by committing to action, each one of us here has taken an important step to end the scourge of this violence. GBVF is not an issue that ends when these events conclude. It will not be a topic that we will return to once a year. That is our commitment. Today has reaffirmed that our responsibility as a collective is continuous. Our work must extend beyond awareness and into transformation, transforming attitudes, policies, systems, and ensuring that survivors are believed, supported, and empowered. To our staff members, Thank you for the tireless dedication throughout the year. This has been a year of challenges, growth, and new achievements. Each one of you has played a meaningful role. To those, thank you. This has sparked a conversation that will inspire shared responsibility. As we look forward to 2026, may it be a year of continued courage to confront injustice, compassion, and unity. Thank you all for being here. I wish you all a restorative holiday season, prosperous new year, love and light, and a luta continua. Thank you.
As we close and switch off our candles, I'm gonna call our father, Putwami, can you come near? Gershwin, can you come near? And Buntu, can you come? We are taking these 3 big lights because we committed that we have men who stand with us in this. And I have chosen particularly the 3 because of their important role. The first big one goes to you, Baba, as our leader.
Thank you.
This goes to you because your role in protecting the children that are given to our hands at this university is very important. Buntu, your role in the student wellness is key. And it is this role that you will have to hold this candle and always shine it up and stand up for what we believe and stand for. And finally, Gershwin, as the president of the Student Representative Council, it is not an easy role in the midst of GBV. I want you to remember that when every time it gets tough, you have these people who had this light to say to you, keep on shining the light. We are behind you. Stand for the truth. Stand for what you believe in. I am giving you this light to continue the journey.
Thank you very much, Prof. Diale. I think they were listened by the big one, yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Prof. Diale, for closing up and assigning the great assignment to all 3 of us. I think we'll keep in remembrance onto that. And I think you must hold us accountable if we will be failing. And once more again, thank you very much, Tabitha, our sister. And thank you to every one of you who showed up with courage today. And when we see abuse, what do we say? Not on my watch. Let's do that. When we see abuse, what do we say? Not on my watch. Remember, real men don't lift hands to hit, they lift hands to help. Men, your presence matters. Together we are unstoppable. We are not here to moan, we are here to mobilize. Now, as we close up here, you are free to come inside and view our help desk, the setup, and know exactly where the assistance will be coming from. This is a one-stop shop for all the students and the staff members instead of going directly to the police station. We have got a very good relationship with them. Please stay and engage with one another after this program. My name is Lucky Kumela, and it has been my honor to serve as a program director, Aluta Continua. From my side, good day, God bless, goodbye, and shalom.